You're watching WCVB News Center 5 Eye Opener.
Clouds on the way today, the rain I'm tracking for the work week.
Rescues from a condo building in one North Shore city. What one witness saw as the fire spread.
More questions surrounding mysterious drone sightings here and all along the East Coast. The answers federal officials are giving now.
It is Sunday, December 15th, 8 a.m. As you take a live look at the skies here in Needham, we have some blue, bright skies out there, but we still are holding on to some cold temperatures. I'm Rondella Richardson.
And I'm Jennifer Egan. Let's send it over to meteorologist Kellyanne Cicalese. And Kellyanne, it's in the teens in some spots.
Yes, many of the suburbs as you move just outside of Boston in the teens this morning. Take a look at this, guys. We're down to 12 in Bedford, 5 degrees in Jaffrey right now. So it is incredibly cold out there to start this morning. This afternoon, it is going to be below average. Average highs in the low to mid 40s. We're in the 30s, but we are going to gain a few degrees from yesterday, and with a very calm wind, it will actually feel like we're in the 30s. So we are going to manage to climb above freezing mark today, and so it won't feel quite as bitter as you're out and about this afternoon. Sun will give way to more clouds this afternoon, though, and that's as we're tracking this next wintry mix. It looks more impressive than it's going to be as it pushes through for us, as high pressure keeps a lot of the moisture to our south and really weakens this system. That's why as we move through the overnight into early tomorrow morning, we're talking about a light wintry mix, mainly focused from 495 westward, where we could see some snowflakes and perhaps even some freezing rain. It's not a washout of a Monday, but these are the spots where we're watching for slick roadways, and this is just a taste of what looks to be a very active weather week. I'll walk you through it ahead. Jennifer Rondella.
Thank you, Kellyanne. Well, right now, several people are injured after a fire partially destroyed a condo in Gloucester.
This was the scene last night on Permy Lane. You
Have identified the victim killed in a raging.
They're searching for a suspect who shot and injured. Borgie is live in Natick, right by a military site where drone activity has been reported. Brianna, good morning.
Good morning, Jen and Rondella. Those drones have been spotted over backyards and more sensitive national security spots, like right here at the U.S. Army Soldier Systems Center in Natick. Our photographer captured this video of a drone closely monitoring the situation, reminding drone owners to follow the laws and operate their devices safely and responsibly. We're live in Natick. Brianna Borgie, WCVB News Center 5.
Thank you, Brianna. New this morning, over 600 concession workers at the TD Garden may go on strike. The workers' union will meet today to vote for a strike authorization.
Emergency shelter in Cambridge is set to shut down today. The shelter housed migrants on a temporary basis. Its
profit continue to provide aid for Ukraine as the war approaches its third year. Common Man for Ukraine.
A rare tornado strikes Northern California.
The warnings issued and the damage left behind.
Plus, skiers hitting Blue Hills, the early opening for the slopes in Canton. Kellyanne.
We have no signs of a big snow here. However, our wintry mix on the way for late tonight into tomorrow could bring a few flakes to some. I'll pinpoint the locations that could wake up the slick roads Monday morning.
And preparing for a new era, what's happening on Beacon Hill and the changes the Bay State could see with the incoming Trump administration.
What if is a time of transition, and that's especially true on Beacon Hill this year. Legislators and lobbyists considering whether to pass a few final major bills, and the Democrats preparing for years of contention with the incoming Trump administration.
Craig Sandler with the State House News Service joins us now to look at some of the forces at play as the clock really winds down. Good morning, Craig.
My friends, glad to be here. How are you?
So good to see you, Craig. The turnover begins tomorrow when departing lawmakers give their farewell addresses in the House and Senate chambers. What other signs of change will we be seeing over the next couple of weeks?
That's right. And those farewell addresses.
Take a live look outside. Look at that, Jen.
It looks pretty nice. All is calm and pretty clear right now. Kellyanne, we know 24 hours from now it's going to look a lot different.
Yes, and really for much of the week ahead, it's looking pretty active here. We have several systems we're watching. None that look all particularly strong, but these quick-moving systems will bring us that quick chance for some rain and even some snow at times. So we're watching for one that's moving in overnight into early tomorrow. Rain looking more and more likely for Tuesday morning, and then we have 2 more systems we'll be watching. So So you can see it here. It's kind of a merry-go-round of storms passing by. The one that's moving through tonight, a lot of the moisture will be shifted southward as high pressure will weaken it as it tries to move in locally. But Tuesday brings a more widespread rainfall for the morning hours. And then we have another system, potential for some snow northwest Wednesday night into Thursday. And then yet again for Friday night heading into next weekend. For now, we'll enjoy the calm. We're sitting with a dew point of 11, so that high pressure is really in control, keeping things really calm, dry, and clear with a very calm wind out of the northwest. 23 feels like 16 in Boston right now. We have many spots in the single digits as you travel northwest to 495, but I would say most of the suburbs are now in the mid to upper teens. In Boston, we did get down to 21, but it's the coldest we've been since February 25th, and certainly the coldest of the season so far. We're at 36 right now, this afternoon, and we'll make our way toward the upper 30s for most spots today. Keep in mind, this is below average. Our average high in the low to mid 40s. But we're going to cross the freezing mark, and we are going to gain a few degrees from yesterday, so it won't feel quite as cold. Also, the wind is in our favor here. It's looking really calm today and right on through the afternoon. So our high temperatures in the 30s will actually feel like the 30s, as we're not talking about a big wind chill factor here. But we will see some clouds streaming in this morning, more so into the afternoon ahead of this next system. So it's not going to be quite as bright of a day, especially by the second half of our day. It's not a washout. This is a quick moving system, so it's a very light mix overnight into early tomorrow morning. We dry out in the afternoon tomorrow as we make our way into the 40s. We see the first flakes as early as 1 o'clock in the morning, mainly west. As it tries to shift eastward, you can see how a lot of the moisture is cut off, mainly west of 128. So there is that chance for some snow and even some freezing rain and pure rainfall farther southward, but most of it is focused south and west of Boston before moving out of here as early as 9-10 o'clock in the morning. So that's why I think as far as slick roadways, you really had to move outside of Boston and outside of 128 toward 495 and then farther westward and through areas of Connecticut where we could see out towards some of the Berkshires and into northern Connecticut a coating to even 1 inch of snowfall. Our next system is rain for Monday night into Tuesday. It's really more of an overnight issue into early Tuesday morning that we could see some heavier rainfall at times. Some of the models hinting at a ½ inch of rain before we dry this out. Another system Wednesday night into Thursday, Friday night into Saturday, and even though we do warm up into the 50s Tuesday, overall the theme here is for us to stay cool. Jennifer.
Looks pretty busy. All right, Kellyanne, thank you. 5 people are recovering after a rare tornado struck Northern California. The National Weather Service confirming that an EF1 tornado struck Scotts Valley right by Santa Cruz on Saturday. The tornado only traveled about 30 yards, but it caused some extensive property damage and flipped several cars.
We saw that white car over there get
started going
into the air about 15 feet, and then
the community jumped in to help pretty immediately, which is great. But it looks like everyone's walking away.
Everybody's okay.
A couple injuries.
Yeah, 2 people are injured, but they're both okay, and they're both in ambulances. Everybody else walked away.
Earlier Saturday, the Weather Service issued a tornado warning for San Francisco, the first since records began in 1950, but no tornado formed there. In Iowa, thousands of people are without power after a severe ice storm slammed that state. This was the scene on Saturday in the city of Waverly. The storm left a coating of ice on the roads, causing dozens of crashes there. Crews are currently working to restore power.
And back here at home, skiers braving the serious cold to hit the slopes at Blue Hills in Canton. The mountain opened yesterday, debuting a brand new
Vancouver after 2 big losses. Brad Marchand opened the scoring on a power play.
Something we've seen in the movies, but usually no better than to try it in real life.
How one curious holiday shopper got caught in a very sticky situation. We'll be right back.
Morning, we have a winter weather advisory that goes into effect overnight, moving just southwest out towards Springfield into Connecticut with this next system. It looks nice and juicy right now, pretty impressive, but high pressure is going to weaken it as it tries to move toward us and push a lot of that moisture to our south. So that's why as we move through the timeline here, say 1 to about 9 a.m. is when we're watching this. A lot of that moisture has a hard time getting into Boston. It stays mainly southwest. We'll watch for some snow, perhaps some freezing rain before it quickly moves out of here. The best chance of some slick roadways really as you travel west of 495. Could see in some spots as you move into western Connecticut and western Massachusetts, up to a coating to 1 inch. Otherwise, it's just that slick road concern that we'll be watching. Monday night to Tuesday, a round of rain and more systems to track for the second half of the week. Jennifer Rondella.
Oh, thanks, Kellyanne. And dozens of kids in Colorado got to visit Santa at the North Pole.
The children were first loaded onto a festive plane at Denver Airport. They were then taken on a roughly 45-minute flight. Then they landed back in Denver, where they were towed to a hangar transformed by United employees and volunteers into the North Pole for them. The event featured plenty of food, games, holiday music, an ice cream truck. Look at those decorations. And of course, a visit from Santa and Mrs. Claus.
That's
just
next
awesome.
level
Yes.
awesomeness. Okay, if you've seen A Christmas Story or Dumb and Dumber, this scene may look familiar. In Sydney, Australia, a man licked an ice sculpture, then seemingly became stuck to it. This all happened in the middle of a bustling outdoor mall. The sculpture was a promotional ad for an energy drink. So many on social media are wondering if the sticky situation was an accident or a PR stunt.
Flick who?
Crazy.
The scene in A Christmas Story. I feel like that's a PR stunt right there.
I don't know. There's some nutty people around that would just go for that sort of
Also
thing.
true.
Okay, big changes under consideration for the United Postal Service.
The plan's President-elect Donald Trump is making for a massive overhaul, and cars struck and left damaged on a street in Southie.
You're watching WCVB News Center 5 Eye Opener.
Deep winter chill, where slick roads will be possible for your next commute, and I'm timing chances for rain in the work week ahead.
Drone sightings in our area have people on edge. What the FAA is saying about the mysterious activity.
A wild hit and run in South Boston. The video of that crash and a closer look at the damage one driver left behind.
Sunday, December 15th, taking a live look outside in Needham this morning. I'm feeling a little bit like Goldilocks this morning because I think it was about a month ago I was saying, I just like it when it feels like the season, like fall, and then now it's just a little bit too cold. This is too much. Thank you for sticking with us. I'm Jennifer Egan.
And I'm Rondella Richardson with Kellyanne Cicalese. So we got some more weather coming our way. Lots of changes.
We do. This is an active week for us. As I was saying, you know, it's going to be a fun week for many meteorologists in Southern New England because we're going to be busy, right? Well, first off, we have things looking nice and quiet this morning, but the big headline is the cold. We're down to about 5 degrees in Jaffrey, 17 as you head out toward Norwood, and we have some low 20s here over Cape Cod. Even in Boston, we dropped down to 21 earlier, now sitting at 23. Bottom line, it's a chilly start. Afternoon highs top out in the mid to upper 30s. We gain a degree or two from yesterday, and I do think it will feel a little bit warmer this afternoon compared to yesterday afternoon, as the wind will be very calm out there for us today. Clouds will start to gather this morning into the afternoon with this system getting closer to us. High pressure really weakens the system and keeps a lot of the moisture to the southwest. But overnight, we will start to see a wintry mix getting a little closer to 495 before it moves on out of here as early as 9-10 o'clock tomorrow morning. We're looking at some slick roadways. That's the concern. But beyond this, it's a very active week, as Rondella mentioned. So I'll walk you through it and the timeline ahead. Jennifer.
All right, Kellyanne, thank you. Breaking news we're following this morning. The man accused of shooting a Vermont police.
Now, questions and concerns after reports of drone sightings across the state and along the East Coast.
The Eye Opener's Brianna Borghi is live in Natick for us near one of the more sensitive sites. Brianna, good morning.
Good morning, Jen and Rondella. We've had plenty of drone sightings this week, but when you have one over a military base here in Natick, people start to wonder.
There's about 15.
Yesterday, federal agencies held a news conference to confirm there is no international threat posed by these drone sightings. But if you have questions or want to report a sighting, the FAA has set up a special hotline. You can find that information on our website, WCVB.com. For now, live in Natick, Brianna Borghi, WCVB News Center 5.
Brianna, thank you. Right now, police are investigating a wild hit and run in South Boston. This all happened on Friday night along Mercer Street. The incident all caught on security cameras, too. You can see the driver turn onto Mercer Street and hit not one but two cars. We're told that the driver sped off without stopping. A good portion of the driver's side of one car was damaged. The side mirror was knocked off. We spoke to someone who lives on that street who was shocked to see that video.
I don't even think they hit the brakes. They just rolled over this car pretty much almost on top of it and kept driving down the street. Almost hit this one behind.
No injuries were reported there. Boston police are investigating.
4 people were taken to the hospital after a crash in Boston's Hyde Park. This happened Saturday just before 5 p.m. on Truman Parkway and Fairmount Avenue. You could see 2 cars towed away from that scene, seriously damaged. We don't know the extent of any injuries yet. The crash is under investigation. And to the Vineyard, police are expecting to charge the driver involved in a violent crash in Oak Bluffs. The crash happened Thursday. You can see the car ended up on its roof in a lake. Police say 3 people were inside that car, a man, a woman, and their mom. The 2 adult children have minor injuries. The mother is in the hospital in critical condition. Investigators believe alcohol and speed played a role in the crash. A building in Westminster was completely destroyed by a fire. This happened yesterday morning on Ashburnham Road.
Settle a defamation lawsuit. Trump sued anchor George Stephanopoulos and ABC.
Is considering a massive overhaul of the U.S. Postal Service once he takes office. In the recent weeks, Trump has expressed interest in privatizing Postal Service. This as the agency continues to lose revenue annually. Trump's specific plans to privatize the agency are unclear. But the Washington Post reported that he recently convened a group of transit
agency. For the first time in more than 2 decades, the T8 planet Earth may break yet another heat record this year.
The alarming new climate report from weather experts and a look-alike contest for a certain...
Certainly feels like the holiday season has arrived here. Winter chill, we're down the single digits in spots. With this cold air in place, we're tracking the potential for a wintry mix overnight. I'll pinpoint the spots that could see some snow on the ground.
This time of year, there could be some added pressure to leave bigger tips. So who do you really tip and how much?
Seems to come up a lot. Our chief national consumer correspondent, Jeff Rawson, is here with his holiday tip guide.
Yeah, I've gotten a lot of questions.
Casting our future now, a troubling report from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. 2024 will likely be the hottest year in recorded history. NOAA says between January and November.
Science back up what we were saying all along. Boy, have we changed, though, now that it's December. We have our blue skies, but we have our cold temperatures. We've had a little flurries, and now we're going to get wet again in the next coming days.
Right. It seems like it's kind of feast or famine here, where, we went through most of fall. It was so dry.
Nothing.
Right. Yeah. And now we're talking about a pretty active week here as we're counting down to the start of winter and also counting down to, I think, Christmas for some folks, right? We're looking ahead. This is our 6 to 10 day outlook, and our 10 day outlook, that does extend us through Christmas Eve. And so I want to give you a heads up. It looks really cold heading into next weekend, and it does appear that that cold trend will linger into Christmas week and possibly even into Christmas Eve. So we are trending colder. Another big question, what about a white Christmas? Not seeing big odds of that right now as far as any sort of snowstorms. However, of course, it is something we'll be watching for. Blue sky out there right now, 23 degrees, no sign of a system anywhere here as high pressure's in control. And that is going to keep us really dry out there for today and also really calm. We are seeing a very light wind out of the northwest at 6 miles per hour. We got down to 21 in Boston earlier. We're now at 23, seeing single digits still as you move out toward Jaffrey and Orange. Low to mid 20s over Cape Cod and the islands. That 21 in Boston, that was the coldest we've felt since February 25th, so nearly 300 days ago it's been since we've been quite this cold. It does feel like a deep winter chill. Not as bad this afternoon, mid to upper 30s today, so it's a nice recovery here. We're staying below average though. Average highs are in the low to mid 40s today, so there's still going to be a little bit of a bite to the air. Not as bad as yesterday. So yesterday our wind chill factors were still in the 20s for most spots. Today our wind chill is actually right next to our actual temperature readings. So it'll actually feel like it's in the low to mid 30s today. High pressure is going to weaken the system as it moves toward us. Right now, it looks rather large and impressive, but as it moves toward us, we're looking at some light mix possible. And you can see it's a quick mover. Overnight into early tomorrow morning, most of your Monday is actually looking dry here, a good amount of clouds, but we are going to warm up slightly into the 40s. So let's time out this system. We see the first flakes as early as 1 a.m., but as we move toward about 5, 6 o'clock, you could see this tries to spread eastward. It will likely be cut off before moving toward Boston, but I would say if you're west of 128, there is that slight chance for a rain-snow mix, freezing rain potential, especially as you move south of the Pike before this clearly moves out very quickly. By 10 a.m., we're completely dry here. Slick road potential, this is highlighted in gray, mainly as you go from 495 westward. You may encounter some spots along 95 here, even as you move east to 495. and also through the Mass Pike. Otherwise, the focus is really central and western Massachusetts and especially down through Connecticut. We are looking at another rainmaker for late Monday night into Tuesday. This is one that's going to warm us up on Tuesday, but we start things off here with what looks to be a very wet outlook for the early Tuesday morning hours. By the afternoon, we start to see improvements. So Tuesday shapes up to be not all too bad at 57 degrees. We have another system late Wednesday into Thursday, and yet again for late Friday into Saturday. It's the later half of the week that is cold enough that we could see some snow being featured with these storms that pass through. So we will keep you updated, of course.
All right, Kellyanne, thank you. Burlington, Vermont City Hall Park was flooded with people sporting white hair, glasses, and mittens over the weekend. You guessed it, all for a Bernie Sanders look-alike competition. Saturday's winner was chosen based on the amount of applause each competitor got. The grand prize was a Bernie Sanders bumper sticker and $17. That's the amount Senator Sanders.
Some pointers.
Just learning singing like when you're really young. My mom trained me for that.
Her mom, a singer and vocal coach, says her daughter started belting songs from Whitney Houston.
I feel like my life dreaming is keep going as I am a singer.
Bringing in our Channel 5 newsroom from Mirabelle, she says she's just getting started.
Do you want to be a professional singer when you grow up?
Yeah.
Yeah?
And also a lawyer, too.
And a lawyer?
Because I can earn money to live and also help people.
Love it. Do it all. I have no doubt you can. Maribel and her mom tell Jessica for New Year's Eve, Maribel will be singing right here at the TD Garden at the Celtics game against the Raptors.
That's
so
just
we can
awesome.
take it in once again.
I wish I had been in the newsroom to see her.
I know.
Oh my gosh, so great. At 8:50, more questions surrounding mysterious drone sightings here and all along the East Coast.
The sensitive area where dozens of possible drone sightings all over the Northeast causing confusion and a lot of questions.
The Eye Opener's Brianna Borghi is live in Natick. And Brianna, they are flying over some sensitive spots too.
They are, Jenna Rondella. This week we've had plenty of drone sightings, but the latest one over the U.S. Army Soldier Systems Center here in Natick is raising even more questions. Our photographer shot this video of a drone or unmanned aircraft over the military base Friday night, and there have been dozens of other reported sightings across the state and up and down the East Coast. Federal officials insist there is no evidence the sightings pose a threat to public safety, but the assurances don't seem to be easing concerns. Meanwhile, state leaders in New Jersey and New York are calling for more aggressive action from Congress and government officials to uncover the mystery. Here in Massachusetts, Governor Maura Healey says the state is keeping a close eye on the situation and reminding drone owners to follow the laws and operate their devices safely and responsibly. We're live in Natick. Brianna Borghi, WCVB News Center 5.
All right, Brianna, thank you. Kellyanne, final check of the forecast. It's sunny and beautiful. It's just cold.
Yes, it certainly is cold. The sun will give way to some clouds for later this morning into the afternoon with this little system that's moving in. It's a wintry mix. No impacts during our daylight hours here. It's really more of an overnight thing into early tomorrow morning, and it's mainly from 495 westward where we're watching for some slick roads. But it's an active week ahead, so we'll walk you through it. Looks to be a little wintry too.
Okay, well, stay tuned because I know how these things move and change and get worse or better.
And they will.
Oh, goodness. Thank you, Kellyanne. Thanks for joining us. We are going to be right back here at 10 a.m.
This is a WCVB Channel 5 editorial.